Hello, and hey, what's up, everybody? It's good to be back here with another Tuesday with Team Tate.
Yes.
My name is Greg Tate.
And my name is Maisha Tate.
And together we're better known as TeamTate Ministries. Go ahead, Maisha, take over.
It's so good to have you guys back with us. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing our videos.
Thank you,
If you are liking what you're seeing, hit the bell. And when you do, it will notify you every time a new video is posted.
Right.
We're growing something and we're building something, and we're glad to have you along for the ride.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for already our subscribers. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the love and support that you've given us. We're just excited to be with you one more time again.
Yes. So today's topic, we by popular demand, actually, we got some subscribers to reach out and say, hey, can you guys do a video on this? So we're big on that, and we're happy that you guys are a part of how this thing is growing and moving. It's a movement.
Right.
So we're grateful and we're happy to do this video today, and it's about being single, and its title is Relationship Status. Being single.
Oh snap, we getting into it. Let's get this whole elephant out the room right here.
Let's do it.
Right now.
Yes.
We're married.
We're married.
No duh. We're talking about being single. It was a request by, like she said, our subscribers and some good people of ours. Hey, calling and say, hey, we want you to do this. We're married, obviously, but we can still talk about being single.
We can, because we were single before. We had single friends.
We had single
family members.
Listen, this marriage was not arranged. This wasn't, something out of Coming to America where, I already had my wife picked out. God put us together.
Yes.
So, I still remember being single. So it's okay. Calm down. We're going to talk about being single. If you're feeling uncomfortable, it's okay. I promise you, you're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine. So join the conversation. Today's just a conversation.
Yep.
Get in on where you fit in.
Right.
Put your 2 cents in. Leave comments below. We want to hear from you so we can keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
So let's dive in.
Let's do it then.
So I want to point out, first and foremost, it's important that being single, that you know and understand that before you were formed in your mother's womb, God had a plan for your life, and He knew who you were, and He had a purpose for your life. So it's important to know that you were a whole person before you were ever in a position to be married to somebody else and be in a relationship with somebody else.
I think that's incredibly crucial.
Yes.
It is important to know that, you are a vital piece, a vital part of the relationship. But before you even get to that part, you're a vital piece all by yourself.
Absolutely.
That you are a loved one, that you are special, that you are unique, that there is nobody else in this entire world that is just like you.
That's right.
So, why not invest in yourself? Why not love yourself? Why not take care of yourself? Why not, allow yourself to heal when you've been hurt?
Yes.
So being single has its ups and it has its downs.
Absolutely.
It has its great sides. It has its, challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Thank you for helping me out.
Absolutely.
It's incumbent of a lot of different things. So we're going to try to just, pin a couple things on here. And with your comments, we can keep going. We can make this into a series, whatever you want to do. But you know what? We're going to try to touch on a very few things here right now.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I've heard from my single friends and talking to family and people who are single, I'm hearing a lot about social media being an issue and being a challenge at times. One of the things that the challenge that it brings up is this selfie culture that we live in is very self-centered, and people are so focused on themselves. They're taking pictures of themselves all day. They're on their stories or on their social media all day, and it's about who liked my photo and how many likes I got for this, and how I can beat this other person, and then the comparison game comes into play.
No, that's a nasty one. Right
there. So you start to compare yourself, and you see that so and so bought a new car. Well, I'm driving an old car.
Right.
And how did she do that, and how did he do that, and then you start trying to live up and keep up with the Joneses, or maybe even the Kardashians.
Right. Listen, you God, like I said, God uniquely made you.
Yeah.
It is already a challenge. It is already, a journey to be you.
Right.
So why take on someone else?
Right. Be yourself.
Be yourself. Yourself is absolutely, hear me, you're absolutely perfect all by yourself, how God made you to be.
Absolutely. And you have something to contribute to the world.
Absolutely.
Your purpose is vital to the world.
Right. And another aspect of social media that I'm hearing, from our young friends or from our young adults is, you know what? It's a facade.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of that. Like, you know what? I thought she was, cute. She put all these pictures up here, and she's doing this. She has this job. She has this status. She's doing that. And then when I finally got to meet her, she looks nothing like her.
Right.
Nothing like I thought in her social media. It's a facade. It's a fake.
Yeah.
And and men do it too. It's not just the females. The men do it too. Hey,
right.
they fix the picture up here and they do things here. They filters. They do all that. And the lady looks at him like, ooh, he's terrible looking. Why? I would have never agree to meet you. You looking like that. So sometimes social media is just another mask that we carry.
Absolutely, big time. People taking pictures by cars that they don't own.
Right.
Things of that nature is like, oh, come on, y'all. We can tell being genuine can come through.
Yeah.
And people know when you're being genuine. And, and it's so crucial that we get back to that because you're a real person. We really want to know who you really are.
Right.
So another thing is, Greg, there's a lot of access to people. So we all have almost 7 billion people in our phones.
Right.
And so that access creates sometimes challenges in terms of staying committed to even being single or staying committed to being in a relationship.
Right.
When I have so much access and options my way.
Right.
Even being a married woman, I have men reaching out to me in my DMs all the time. Even after my husband and I are very open, so we share with one another. But yes, you know this. But anyway, even after graciously, telling men that I'm married and happily married, they still pursue me. I have to come to a place where I'm like, listen, I appreciate the compliment, but I have to put barriers up because I'm committed to TeamTate.
Exactly. You better be committed to TeamTate.
Forever, ever.
Exactly.
Forever,
listen,
ever.
you put in too much for this, and you riding this, the wheels fall off.
That's right.
And the same thing, just because guys talk to girls, also listen. Girls go in my DMs.
Yeah.
Girls try to message me. Females try to do all that. You know what? And you know what?
Don't DM my husband.
I don't entertain it. I don't even try to talk to him and entertain it. I don't even do all that.
Yeah.
Why mess up a perfectly good thing?
That's right. But it poses a challenge that we may not have seen before because like I said, you're meeting people from all over the world on social media every day.
Right.
So it's important that you learn how to manage what you really want for your life with social media.
Too much access can lead to chaos.
Absolutely.
Too much access can lead to chaos.
And we're grateful for some of the access.
Some of the access is wonderful and it's beautiful. Don't get it twisted. I was one of those people that took forever to be on Facebook and forever to be on social media because I'm a private person by nature. My wife can tell you that. I don't like a whole lot of people in my business.
Right.
But, knowing that, I can connect with so-and-so that I haven't seen in years.
Right.
I can connect with this person I haven't seen in forever. Oh, look what great things they're doing over here. Or look what project is being started over here.
Right.
It can be a tool instead of an identity. And I think today that a selfie culture that we live in, social media is not a tool anymore. It's now transitioned to an identity. And so, because I want a certain look to be viewed, and because I want people to have access to me, and I need to compare myself to see if I am the top dog, it's now become an identity as instead of a tool that we can use.
I love that. Yeah. So people don't always, they're not always showing you their real true selves. And sometimes they are. I've made some really great connections on social media, and I have friends who actually ended up marrying somebody that they met online, and it turned out to be a great thing.
Well, there's some great,
we're just throwing stuff out there. What have been your challenges?
Yeah.
What have you had to deal with being single in the social media culture? Leave us a comment below. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Well, Maisha, we're talking about being single. We're talking about the social media aspect. We're talking about that. Why don't you tell them a little bit about your testimony, or a little bit about, the time when you were single?
Yes, absolutely. So Greg and I are two very normal, humble people, very real human beings. Even though we love the Lord and we're serving Him in ministry, you know, we're real human beings and we have our challenges. And one of the things that happened to me was I got really, really close to the Lord during my single years. I made some poor decisions early on in my 20s. Can anybody relate to that? And I got involved with some relationships that were pretty toxic, and you know, it led to some things that were very hurtful and painful, and it also led to some great things. I had two beautiful sons who I adore, who changed my life forever in the best way. And I became a single mother at 21 years old. And I grew up in the church, and my father is a pastor, so that's a whole nother layer of difficulty that came with that. Not from family. My parents were wonderful and receptive and loving and gracious to help me as I was restored back to myself, basically.
We talked about that earlier in the earlier video, religious shade, exposing religious shade. So that's what she was talking about. It wasn't her parents, but it was the religious
church
shade,
culture,
the shade that she got from religious folk.
Yeah, absolutely. It was difficult, and I had to worship God through all of that. You know, I would come to church and people would be whispering because my stomach being out and showing now, and you know, people talk, and you know, I kept my eyes on Jesus. And during that period of time, I really got to know who I was through His Word. I would just get up early in the morning, open up His Word, and start studying. I got really connected to watching Joyce Meyer every morning and getting fed. My spirit was being fed on another level. And that was good for me because as a pastor's daughter, I was able to be fed without the crowds.
Right.
And I got to know who I was. And in that time frame, Greg, I had gone through, after having my second son out of wedlock, I decided I just wanted to be alone. And I didn't want to even communicate with men because I really, at that point, I was just thinking I'll be single for the rest of my life. I was good with that.
How many other females can relate to that? You just been through bad decisions, you've been through hard times, and you've been through different toxic relationships, and you just like, you know what, I throw my hands up. I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to be single. Even you men too. Like, listen, I've came to the conclusion. You know what? I give up. I'm just going to stay single the rest of my life. Hit us down below. Hit us a comment. You know, tell us about it. We want to hear from you because we can relate. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I went through that phase where I just felt like I needed to silence all the noise and only hear God's voice. And there might be some people out here right now. And you're at a point in your life where you've got so many people in your ear. You're constantly on your social media. You're constantly hearing from your girlfriends, your guy friends, and you just don't know which way to turn. Sometimes you have to turn stuff off in order to connect to God.
Oh, that's good.
And so I went through a period where I didn't talk to any men. No one got my phone number. I would only speak to those who I felt safe with, which was my father, my brother, and actually Greg was one of my friends I trusted. And so during that period, God began to heal me and connect me to His original purpose for my life. And I became such more centered in what I really was here to do in the world. And God would speak to me all the time, and I answered the call into the ministry. And Greg and I were friends during that time, and I think that it's really important that you surround yourself with some good friends when you're single.
Absolutely. Single does not have to mean alone.
That's so good.
Single does not have to mean alone.
Right.
You can be single and surrounded by loved ones.
That's right.
Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you listening to? Who are you allowing to influence you in your thinking and in the decision making that you're doing?
That's so good, babe, because sometimes people think that being single means you have to be alone, but it's not true. Even
and people also think, I'm sorry, but also people also think that being single means you're vulnerable.
Right.
Because, all right, she's alone, I can, I tell you, for example, guys prey on that because, oh, she's single, she's vulnerable, she's alone, I can, chit chat, whisper, spit this game because you know, she got no one to protect or cover her or do anything like that. So,
right.
yeah.
And that's why I chose to only speak to those men that I felt safe with during that period of time. So everybody's different. I'm not saying you have to do it the way I did. I'm just sharing my story.
Right.
And so, and I also want to put it out there that I was not a victim. The men that I was involved with, we both made a decision, and I don't put their name or throw them under the bus. They're wonderful human beings. We have a good relationship, and we've raised some amazing sons. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. And God brought a lot of healing and restoration to me. He healed the relationships around me with those men and with my newfound husband. All along, I had no attraction to Greg in that way and didn't even know. All along, God was putting me, you know, in a position to be married to Greg. So you never know how God is setting things up, but I think that if you will connect and try to find out, God, who am I? What did you create me for? How do you feel about me? They feel this way about me, but how do you feel about me?
Right.
You know, I dated myself. I took myself to movies. I went to restaurants. I figured out what kind of ice cream I like. While you're single, let it be a discovery period. Right. Start traveling.
Right.
Hang out.
Right.
Go to concerts. Do things. Don't live your life.
Right. Exactly. Being single allows you to find out who you are and how God made you to be. Exactly how he breathed into you the way he wanted you to be.
Right.
I speaking about that, I think that's great. And one of the last things I did want to say before we close out, Maisha, is something that your dad taught me a while ago. Is, you know, in relationships we live in a very, you know, 50-50. You bring 50, I bring 50.
I've heard that before.
And we come together and we make 100. You know, and that's totally false, because if you bring half yourself, and your other person's bringing half yourself, you know, it's two broken halves trying to put together a piece.
Right.
But if you come whole, if you 100 and she 100, and you come together, you form, you know, something even more complete.
Absolutely.
Because you know what, I'm gonna date myself, Maisha, but I love Neo when he said something like this. He said, you know, I'm good all by myself, but with you, you make me better.
I love it.
You know what? Before I met my wife, I was good.
Yeah.
I was great. Did I want a relationship? Sure, I did. And there was times I didn't want a relationship.
Yeah.
But I felt comfortable in me finally. And then when I finally felt comfortable with me, God blessed me with a wife that was comfortable with her.
I love it.
With yourself.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is good today, so we can go on and on. We're preachers, but we're gonna shut it down. But I like that, Greg. So I think a good hashtag for that would be keep it 100.
Keep it 100.
Not 50-50, but keep it 100.
Keep it 100. Bring your whole heel self to the table.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week. We'll continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
You don't want to miss it. Share it with all your friends and family. Like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell.
And hit that comment below. We'd like to hear from you. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.
Good night.